Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Anukth, and welcome to our first episode of this exciting series, Empowerment Evolution by JioEvents Studio. As we embark on this journey of personal growth and empowerment, I am thrilled to introduce to you our esteemed guest, Dr. Garima K, a seasoned personality development coach, a two-time TED speaker, and a renowned parenting coach. Dr. Garima brings a wealth of experience and expertise to our discussion today, focusing on the topic boosting confidence through English communication. As we dive, guys, into this important conversation, let's welcome Dr. Garima and our audience who are going to watch this as we explore strategies and insights that enhance confidence through effective communication in English. Welcome to the show, Dr. Garima.
Thank you so much, Anuk, for this beautiful introduction. I am actually humbled and it's my privilege to be here on this podcast.
I'm so happy you're with us today, and this is one of our first episodes on this big series that we have. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation and the next episodes. So, without any delay, I would get to the basics and slowly we'll dwell into the topic more. I wanted to know, as you have been into this industry, into personality development, a lot into speaking, um, how effective or the role that communication plays in building just the basic thing, self confidence.
See, somewhere I would say communication and self confidence, they go hand in hand. They are like those best friends forever. If you can communicate well, you are confident that you will be able to handle any situation anywhere. Similarly, if you are confident in yourself, then you will be able to communicate your ideas well. So, like I said, they complement each other, they go hand in hand. Right now, for this to understand a little well, let me give you a small story because I'm a storyteller and I love sharing stories.
Please,
Right.
please.
So imagine just now you gave a beautiful introduction, right? And let's imagine we are sitting in a seminar and we get an introduction about a leader with all the different titles and everything. And the moment that particular leader is there on the stage and the person starts talking, the person fumbles.
Hmm.
So everything, the image that you have in your mind, everything shatters, right? Why? Because the person was unable to communicate. Now keep yourself in that place. Not only does the communication, but also your self confidence shatters. So if you're able to communicate your ideas, I believe that you're able to connect not only with your audience, but also with people around. You build that genuine relationship with them. And
Got
when
it.
you're able to do that, you know that if you are in any situation, any tough situation, you will be able to handle it by communicating with the right person. So again, like I said, they go hand in hand, they're best friends forever.
Nice. Do you believe the fact that considering that we are at such a pace where the world's growing, where we are having sort of a level of communication with any sector in the world across the globe, so how conversing in English specifically contributes to boosting confidence of a person overall?
That's a wonderful question. See, mostly because what I hear is if I can communicate in my regional, in my local language, why go for English? See, because it's the time of globalization. India is developing nation. We need to make sure that we are able to communicate not only with few people around us, but with people across different geographies. So when I say this, let me give you a small example. Uh, a decade back, more than a decade back, we were in Chennai. I
Mhm.
was confident that, okay, I will be able to handle this. And it was around 16, 17 years back. I was in Chennai and I had a small child with me. So there were struggles, no doubt, but I was confident I will be able to handle it. Why? Because I will be able to communicate and conduct my day to day life, even though I did not know Tamil. So while I was there, I did try to learn the basics of Tamil, the basic words that I could converse with my house help. Other than that, speaking in English helped me a lot. And same goes when we were traveling on a project to UK and US. So I was able to communicate because I knew English. So yes, English plays a major role in communication, in yourself, in developing and building that self confidence. Because now you are sure that whichever part of the world you are, irrespective of the language, you will be able to conduct your day to day life. Why? Because it's a somewhere a universal language. Irrespective of the country, that one thing that will be common is English. So yes, when you learn English, when you are proficient in this particular language, it opens doors to multiple opportunities. Like you said, different industries. It does open doors to it. You cannot confine yourself with local clients only. You can
Mhm.
go ahead and have global clients. So I have a lot of people reaching out to me, and being in India, that's the best part. When they convert their dollars to INR, they find our services pretty cheap compared to theirs, and we are
Mm.
giving them the quality service.
Mm.
So we can somewhere tap on it only if we are proficient with this language. So it
Got it.
does open a lot of opportunities for you if you are proficient in this particular language. Not only this, you're able to inspire and motivate many other people. And
People.
that leaves a lasting impression on your audience, on your clients.
Okay. Just to add a bit on this. Uh, can we put it in this way that this is not just an Indian problem? The communication. I would want to have your opinion on this thing, and like, is it a global thing? Because more on the recent stages, if you actually see the stats that I've had a look at, the number of people who are trying to learn English in India are rapidly growing compared to the other part of the world. We
Right.
might have our regional things, but in India, people are growing, because if you go to Germany or anywhere, they have a barrier on their language first as a top priority. So, is
True.
this a global issue?
See, again, when you say that, you're right. We go to Germany, when we go to France, they promote French and German, right? When you go to China, they promote Mandarin.
Hmm.
Understand, France, Germany, they are developed countries, right?
Hmm.
So if you are among the developing countries, if you want to make your mark, you should be able to converse with people across. And for that, the common language is English. That is
English.
why we need it. And with that, let me share a personal experience also with you. So I think we were in North Carolina that time, and
Okay.
my daughter was 2 years old, right?
Mhm.
So there was one more child who was around 3 4 years old, and they were Brazilian. Now this child really wanted to talk to my daughter, but she couldn't. Why? Because she did not know how to converse in English. Though she was older than my daughter, but she was unable to converse in English. Now there, my daughter, though she was 2.5 3, she was able to converse. So this little child would bring her dad, the dad would listen, would translate it to us, my daughter would respond back, the dad would again translate it into a Brazilian language, and that's how they would converse. So that something shows that here, even though the child really wanted to play with my kid,
There's a
she
barrier.
could not because of the language barrier.
Got it. Got it. So actually, you have answered my next thing. I wanted to know about your personal opinion. How, let me put it in this way, that how English communication has positively impacted your confidence. And the other part is like, were there any initial fears that you wanted to overcome while communicating in English?
Right. So, two questions. First question, my personal experience on English and how it helped me. It definitely helped me. See, for people who have known me, who have followed my TEDx talk or me on LinkedIn, they know that back when I was 7 year old, I guess, yeah, I was 7 year old in grade two. I was asked to introduce myself in a new school wherein I got admission through an entrance test. I passed that entrance test with glowing colors. But the first day when I was asked to introduce, I fumbled. Grade 2, 7 year old, they're not old, but yes, they're old enough to introduce themselves. Fumbling there somewhere made the classmates giggle and laugh, and I could hear that, I could see that, and that somewhere, uh, that seed in my brain, somewhere it got ingrained in my brain that, okay, I'm not good enough. And this led to me being a forced introvert. So I always say I was not introvert. I became a forced introvert because of this experience. And that's how my entire school life went, being a forced introvert because I can't communicate in English. So that thing was somewhere a limiting factor for my growth when I was at school, when I was at college. Even at college, I had the same problem. I could not converse confidently in English. But what I realized is when I started speaking, when I started learning, when I started working on this particular aspect, I realized my confidence level shot 10 times. Now, this person is a person that, okay, now I'm ready. Shoot whatever you want to shoot. I will be able to handle. How will I be able to handle? Because I know that I can organize my thoughts well and I can put forward those thoughts. Most importantly, is we all speak. We all know how to convey our thoughts. Can I convey it effectively? That is an art. That is what you learn as in when you start practicing. So there are times wherein, so you ask for a personal experience. There was this event we were to organize, and it was a last minute event. That okay, we thought that we will organize it, and we barely had a week's time.
Okay.
So organizing everything, the different programs that will happen, and those sequencing, everything was changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing was set that this is how the program will run, or this is how the flow of the program
Flow
will
will
be.
be there.
So there I knew I will be able to handle. Why?
Mm.
Because I know I will put in some stories,
Um,
I will put in some jokes or something and make sure that my audience, they are engaged. And
okay.
I was able to conduct that particular event really well. So
Mm.
that is what happens when you are proficient with the language, you know how to effectively communicate yourself. So it does boost your confidence. Now, coming to how did I overcome those struggles? Like I said, my school days, my college days weren't that pleasant because me being a forced introvert there. How did I overcome? So, again, a small story there. Like I said, I was that time again with when my daughter was pretty young, the same 2.5, 3 years, and that time we were in Alabama,
Okay.
Birmingham. Alabama. So there we were playing in the garden, and there is this kindergarten teacher walks in. Right, so we were living in a hotel. So people would every day we would meet new faces, and I would just strike a conversation. So when she looked at my daughter, and we were conversing, she said, "Where do you put up?" I said, "I'm from India," and she was like, "Is English the first language there?" I said, "No, it's our second language. Our otherwise national language here is Hindi, and we are Hindi speakers." She was like, "Doesn't seem like the way your daughter is conversing, a 2.5, 3 year old is conversing, doesn't seem that it's not your first language." And that got me thinking that back there in US, and whenever I had to visit hospitals and all, there were times wherein I would say, "Excuse me," because I was unable to catch what they're saying. They never judged me on that. They never judged me on that. It was only my thought that people will think I
Think.
fumbled or people will think I asked them to repeat. But
Hmm.
the fact is, they
Interesting.
don't care. They
Hmm.
don't care. They're like, it's your second language. The way you're speaking, that's the best you're doing. It's only here that we judge. So that experience somewhere helped me. That helped me overcome that self-limiting belief that I can't do it. And that is the time when things started moving in the right direction. Because I couldn't pursue, obviously, I couldn't pursue my dentistry there, these experiences and all, and I was pursuing some other courses. That's when I shifted from my dental line to education industry and I started working on English language itself. Being a trainer because I never wanted anyone to go through the same thing. So, how did I overcome? First of all, I worked on my mindset. Then I equipped myself with the right words that I will use.
Hmm.
So, this is how, and I worked. Yes, I did work. I listened to a lot of podcasts, a lot of audiobooks. So, yes, you do all that and you will be able to overcome it.
Nice. I have to go ahead. I have actually two things to take away. I would want to get into more about the importance and the overcoming challenges. But prior to that, can you tell our audiences a bit more about how did you shift from the dental to education, and what was the thing that took you to the education side from the doctorate dental thing?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And there was a time wherein I would not put the title of doctor in front of my name so that people don't ask me. It
Okay.
was somewhere a pain point for me. People think that it's very easy to make the transition. Let me tell you, it's not easy. For
Mm,
something that you have devoted a good 5, 6, 7 years of your youth in putting into a field and then transitioning from it is not easy. Clearing that entrance exam, then spending those 4, 5 years working meticulously on each and everything. And dentistry is not an easy thing. It's an art and science. So science comes after. It's an art. So it's more of
mm,
your practical aspect, and then
right.
along with that, theory. So a lot of effort there, and I was among the toppers. So
Wow.
transitioning was not easy, but then I realized that because my husband was into a traveling profile, and since I was moving along with him, it was difficult for me to start my practice. So initial travel was within India. So my first travel was to Chennai, like I said. So in Chennai, yes, I was given, there is this Lifeline hospitals. These are
Okay.
chain
It's a
of
big change.
hospitals there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big chain, and I was given this opportunity to work there. But then around that time, my kid was just 6, 7 months, so I couldn't have left her. Reason being, none of us was very vocal, very verbal in the language. We did not know the Tamil language back then, so I had to give up that wonderful opportunity that I had. And then our travels were all abroad. Now, if you guys are aware, our medical degree is not recognized in US or UK. UK, you have to give an exam and then you can practice. In US, you have to actually give an entrance exam, study for 2 years, and then you
And
can
then
do.
you can practice. Yeah.
So with family and with this, that was I did think of clearing that NBDE, the entrance exam in US. But then we thought it's not a practical decision to do it, and that's when I thought of transitioning. Yes, there was a small phase wherein I was really upset. A little bit of depression also seeped in. I sought help from professionals. When I say sought help, not a psychologist type of one, but yes, I did talk to people, and that's when I thought of transitioning into another field wherein again I can impact. So this is one thing that was common. I always wanted
You
to
want to
bring in a
impact the
different.
life. Yeah.
So, because I remember my first patient when I was in third year of my dentistry, and this was she was a young teenager who came along with the mom saying it's hurting a lot. She was just 13 or 14. It's hurting a lot, hurting a lot. It's just a simple RCT, and that day I just opened one canal. The pain was relieved. Joy, the happiness on her face, and the gratitude in her eyes, as if, my God, what have I done? That is one thing that I love the most about this
Mm.
particular field. So when I had to transition, it was not easy. But then I thought, what is the next thing wherein people would remember me even after leaving or even after taking my services? And that's when I thought, why not impact the lives through this particular thing? So I shifted to education industry.
Very interesting, very interesting. Because I've heard a lot of my friends tell this thing to me that once you get into that field where you're learning about health sciences, um, it's a never ending process. You keep studying, you keep writing exams, you keep doing things till you're 40, 50, 60. So, people who start have a lot of confidence in them in the start. So I think somewhere down the line, deep inside, the confidence that you had there is reflecting in your profession that you are there today. Because to take that itself is a it's like a very complicated decision, I would say. So
Yeah,
that
it's really
confidence is
complex.
helping you.
True, true, true. Agree. Yeah, it was complicated, but yes. Since, see, I always tell my students, and when I say my students, the age group that I cater to is 9, 10 years to around 40 to 45 years. So I'm talking about the entire age group. I always tell everyone, see, whatever you're doing, and this is what my dad told me, whatever you do, make sure you give your best in that.
Mm.
So that when you see in retrospect, you're never upset that I could have done better. That
Right.
could have should not be there. You should be satisfied that whatever I did to the best of my
Best.
capabilities.
Yeah.
So,
That's so true. That's very nice. So, getting back to the podcast topic. You can tell this in perspective of your experiences, or if any of your student experiences that you want to share. Uh, what have you seen as the importance of language, uh, particularly linked towards the confidence levels? And do people who come to you or you have spoken to treat English language speaking proficiency, at least as once that it affects one perception or of self-worth or something like that? So like, do they feel it's like a booster shot when they know how to converse in English, and how important is that?
See, first of all, we should understand that when it comes to English, it's a widely accepted language. Like we can say, it's a lingua franca.
Hmm.
Everyone is speaking, even though their native language is something else,
Something
right?
else.
So, having said that, I remember one of those students, he was 10, 11-year old, and the mom reached out to me. Again, this student was a Malayali, if I'm not wrong. Again, I'm forgetting it because it was some years back, right? So this 10-year-old would tell the mom that I can speak in my language, in my local language. I can talk to you, I can talk to my teachers, I can talk to my grandparents. Why do I learn this new language? And this student, as we have this bias in our mind, very good in maths and science, but just doesn't like language, which is fine, right? So the mom reached out to me, what do I do? Because in my house also, it is only me who's speaking in English and no one else. I cannot tell the grandparents uh, to change. If I'm only one speaking, the child will not speak to me, will go and run to the grandparents. So what do I do? I said, okay, enroll the child. I will see what happens. So the child was enrolled. We had fun couple of classes, and I did not bring up this topic. It was around 3, 4 months into the course. That's when I asked him that, how are you liking it? And this boy was like, yeah, it's fun. It's good. I'm learning a lot. I said, good. Your mom said you don't want to learn this language. And he was like, yeah, I was because I didn't understand it. I said, cool. But tell me one thing. If you didn't know the language, would we be talking to each other? If you want to talk to me, child, you need to speak English because I do not know your language. And that stuck him. He was like, yeah, you're right. And 2 years into the whole thing, into my course, then I get to know that this child comes and says, you know what, I have given that Olympiad, and here I got this grade, I got these many marks, and my teacher asked the entire class to clap for me. So that is what is the importance of learning a language. I'm not saying mastering because there is no mastering. Even I am a work in progress, right? But learning a language and how it boosts not only your self confidence, but also your self esteem, your self worth. You start feeling
True.
you worthy now, right? So this was one example from a student of mine. Along similar lines, it had been with my own child, my younger one. So she is an introvert, which is fine. I mean, like being an introvert, you can work, you have your own strengths. But then there was this thing that people speak over me whenever I try to do it, all those things. And now she is so confident. She herself is a TEDx speaker. Now she can convey her thoughts. Recently, she went to one of the inter zonals. Not it was not inter school. It was zonals, wherein there were 60 schools, 120 participants, and there she bagged first prize in impromptu speaking.
Wow.
Impromptu. So first of all, speaking and that to impromptu. So that's how things happen once you start liking it. So what
Hmm.
I feel is, why are people a little skeptic about it? Because they feel it's not fun, it's difficult to do it, I won't be able to do it, all those things. But yes, once you start working on it, there are easy ways, there are fun ways wherein you can go about learning it.
Hmm. So, because you mentioned this point about learning thing, let me ask you this thing. How important do you think is building? I think this is not only specific to English language, but it's specific to any language. So, how important is it to build a vocabulary around a specific language to contribute for effective or easy communication? Because I think
Good.
it builds up a confidence level as well.
True, true, definitely. Because see, if you know the right words that need to be spoken, that needs to be spoken to convey your idea, you express it more clearly. Then,
Hmm.
and that clear communication somewhere removes all the miscommunications, right? So, for example, like we were traveling, and I also tried learning a lot of languages. Tamil being the first one. Then we tried our hands on Spanish. We also tried our hands on French, right?
Okay.
When I say we, with the first one, with my first child, I tried Spanish, and with my second child, I was learning French. So, what I feel is when you know the right words, at least you know how to string them together. Most of the time, what happens that, okay, you are about to say something, but then you don't get the right word. And what
Hmm.
do? Either you fumble, and when you fumble or stumble there, you lose your confidence. And if you don't do that, then what do? You choose to stay quiet. You don't even express your thought because you don't know the right word. That's why it's important to have a basic vocabulary. And I'm not saying a very good or fancy vocabulary because let me tell you, when students say, how do I go about, should I open the dictionary and start it? I say, no. An Oxford dictionary is this thick. How many words will you learn? We can't. It's
Hmm.
humanly not possible.
Possible.
So, what do we do? Make sure when it comes to us, what are the words that we use in our regular day to day practice?
Common
Those
things.
are the
Yeah.
words we need to focus on. That's it.
Yep. That's nice. It's actually an easy technique. Like even if you come across a word and that person that you are conversing has spoken, and you found it attractive or something, you can have that thing learned that day, and you can keep using it. You can take it from the other person, use it, and then put it into your conversation on your day-to-day activities. Because I have done that when I was having few corporate discussions, because being in this line on the marketing side, I came when I started with my career, I learned a lot of words like that, which probably I went back, checked what is the meaning of it, because they might have not come in my first 20 years of life of studying and everything, but post that those words got introduced to me, so that's when I could get used to that words.
Exactly. So when you say that, that means you have that growth mindset. You need to have a growth mindset to learn anything new, not only language, not only vocabulary, anything. You should be open to learning. And for that, first of all, acknowledge I don't know everything. There's a lot more that I
Good to
can
learn.
learn. So I'm open to whatever things are coming to me and what are the things that I can learn from it. And that goes for vocabulary too. So whenever you're watching a movie, whenever you're talking to someone, listening to a podcast, listening to an audiobook, right? Or maybe just watching a play, make sure you have something with you and just jot it down. So as of now, there was a time wherein I'm a very much pen and paper type of person. I would rush and go and get a pen and paper and write it. So I have this notebook wherein I keep writing things. But now there are times wherein you are traveling, you don't have a pen and paper. What do? Everyone has a phone. And my notepad is all filled with a lot of different things that come to my mind. So that's how you do it. You just jot it down. The moment you hear anything, jot it down.
Mhm. Interesting. I will remember this. Uh, so I'm coming to a very interesting part, at least to me. So cultural context. So why I'll tell you I included this thing is I feel you take let's take English only because we're talking about it. People speaking in English from different parts of the world have a different cultural context that comes into their English speaking. Probably a French guy who's speaking English differs from a US guy, differs from a Spanish guy, and differs from an Indian guy. And in India, let me put this thing, probably a Tamilian speaking English is different from a Telugu speaking English, is different from a Gujarati speaking English, different from a Maharashtrian, because we have the highest cultures possible across the globe. So how important is it to have a cultural understanding while communicating in this language in English? And if you have any examples of cultural nuances that you have come across, I would be very happy to listen.
Yes, because the moment you were asking the question, I one of the
Recollecting.
incidents, yeah, one of the incidents that sprung to my mind. And again, if you are aware of these cultural nuances, it will be easier for you to understand the other person's perspective, right?
Mm.
You won't be in a judgmental stage that, okay, why did the person say that?
Yeah.
Somewhere it will bridge that gap between the two people, right? You will have a better understanding, a better relationship. So why do I say that? Because while I was in US, and uh, we would visit hospitals, and we would visit my daughter's friend's house and everywhere. So there were a lot of times wherein the questions that were asked from me would be very offensive if we think from an Indian perspective, right?
Mm.
But that's their culture. That's how it goes. For example, maybe let me give you a very simple example here. For example, calling out people, greeting and calling out people. So there, no one says auntie, uncle, because that is too personal to them. But I would tell my because my child will eventually come back to India, so I have to train my child accordingly. And I would tell all those my daughter's friend's mom or the teachers. I would tell that my child is going to call you sir, ma'am, or will call you uncle and aunt, and they would be like, why? We are not that personal. Hey, that's how my culture is. And the questions that they would raise, for example, who's the father? Same father for both the kids. So these are things which for us Indians is like not very appropriate. But then that's okay. I understand that's the cultural difference. But I didn't get offended with any such questions. It was a normal thing, and I answered accordingly. So, when we talk about cultural understanding, let's understand there are multiple unspoken rules when it comes to talking to these people. And
People.
if you are able to tap into those things, you'll be able to create that connect really well. You'll not be somewhere, there will be no misunderstandings, and you won't be, what do I say, sound very out of place. You won't, like I say, you won't commit a cultural faux pas.
Mm. Interesting, very interesting. So throughout this podcast, I've observed a very interesting part. I think probably you might have come across this thing a lot of times, but your tone and body language, it's pitch perfect. So how important is that when it comes to speaking in a TEDx or in any of the events that you have been part of, or any podcast that you have been part of? How does it matter?
Okay,
And
so
how
when we
can I put one more thing? How can you suggest anybody to change it or practice it, or strategies for change in body language and tone?
So what I'll do is, Anut, I'll take your example here, right? Let me not go for TEDx. Let's go with some normal conversation only. Because our body language, and I always say, our body speaks louder than the words we use. Our body speaks louder. See, for example, if you're talking and Anuk is looking here and there, that means he's not interested in what I'm saying, right? So that's the body language speaking. He might sit there and may sound that, yeah, you're listening to me, but your body tells that you're actually listening or not.
Hmm.
So, like Mr. Mehrabian also said, your body language constitutes the major part of your conversation. Those non-verbal cues are important, right? So, and like I said, I'll give your example. How are you sitting right now? It's an open posture. So, if you want your audience to feel you're confident, and when I say that audience to feel you're confident, I mean that whenever you're there on the stage, if someone says, oh, you know what, I'm not nervous at all, that person is lying. Because I think who said that? Leo Tolstoy said that, or someone said that. There are two. No, Mark Twain said that. Yes, Mark
Okay.
Twain said that there are two types of speakers. One who are nervous, the other who are liars. That's true. And I did come across many speakers who are actually great speakers, right? But they all are nervous. They all do some bit of preparation before they come to speak on any stage, right? Now, like I was telling, how do you make sure your audience feel that you are confident even if you are nervous? Yes, you can project that you are confident. How? Have open body structure. What is open body posture like you have right now, Anu? Right?
I'm
So
taking it as a compliment right now.
yes, that is
one tick one tick to the podcast.
Right. See, that's how it goes. Anything, see, any conversation that starts with a smile, that means you're confident. Anything that shows your open posture, that shows you are confident. So there's nothing that you're authentic. There's nothing that you are hiding, right? And when you're using your hand gestures, so if I still sit here and keep speaking, even though if I'm speaking well, it will sound like I'm a robot. That becomes
Hmm.
robotic. And same goes with the voice modulation. If I speak in the same tone, same pace, it becomes so monotonous that it will lull your audience to sleep. So
Hmm.
I will not take the example of big speakers. I will take the example of the speaker right in front of me. Anand, look at his smile, look at his body language, look at the way he's using his hands, gestures in a normal way. If I keep doing like this, it is like excessive use. Then
Hmm.
again, that means you are nervous. But you are confident, your shoulders are relaxed, you are smiling, you are speaking at the right pace, right modulation, you're changing the tone every time, the pace is changing whenever required, you know which words to emphasize. These are the ways that you can project that you are confident, even though somewhere at the back of your mind, you're slightly nervous. We
Slightly.
all can look confident.
I'm glad. I have nothing more to say on this thing, but yeah, that's nice. That's nice way to put out because probably I let me tell you by taking this example that you've taken right now, people might relate more because they're seeing both of the things at the same time in the podcast. They don't have to relate to any XYZ example that might not be there in front of them, so this will help the audience know better about it. So I'm glad you had this example. uh, so yeah, coming to the last part of the podcast for this episode, I have two more discussions. One is practice strategies. So how any regular practices that you want people to incorporate in their daily routines that can help them enhance communication skills, English speaking skills, which will eventually go to boosting up the confidence.
Right. So first thing I would say, and every time whenever I speak, I say the first thing you need to work on is your mindset.
Hmm.
Okay, your mindset is very important. You can do anything and achieve anything in life if you think you can do it. If you have that growth mindset.
Hmm.
If you fail in your mind first, you will never ever excel on the ground. Trust me.
Got it.
So first,
Perfect.
work on the mindset. And when I say mindset, how? So first thing is get over with those self doubts and those self limiting beliefs that pull you down. Oh, I don't know this. I can't
Hmm.
do this. No, when these people can do it, so can I. That's how I used to motivate myself. When so and so can do it, so can I. Let me give
Hmm.
it a try. Did I even try? So ask yourself these questions. Get over your self doubts.
Hmm.
Practice self affirmations. Yes, I can do it. I am there. I will do it. I will give my 100%. I don't know it yet, the power of yet. Okay, these things will help you work on the mindset. Also, the biggest challenge that people face is that fear of judgment. So always think no one's there to judge me. They are here to talk to me. They are here to listen to me.
Hmm.
So get over with this fear of judgment. What if I make mistake? It's okay. We are humans. Accept it. My second TEDx talk was on this only.
Hmm.
Own your imperfections, and no, embrace your imperfections and own your humanity. You are human, and if we are
Hmm.
human, we will make
Interesting.
mistakes.
Hmm.
That's fine. If I make mistake, and if I know I have made mistake, I will correct it. If I do not know, maybe the person right in front of me, if it's a good person, nice person, my friend, I will ask, please let me know where I'm going wrong. That's it. Make mistakes, but learn. Don't let that mistake be a reason to pull you back. Don't. Second thing is, consistency plays a major role. So build on that vocabulary because you need to have some tools in your bag to convey your thoughts. And these tools are your English words, the
Hmm.
vocabulary words. Now, what type of words? Again, words that are important for your industry, your niche, something that you will use in your day to day life. How do I do that? Again, next question is how do I do that? So for that, If you are into reading books, read book as per your niche. If you are a person who gets bored, that I can't commit so many hours or so many days for a book, read articles, read blogs. Okay, reading is one way, listening is the other way. So for some people who are not into reading, see, I don't like English, I can't pick up a book and read. So in that case, listen to it. You love watching movies, watch a movie, some good movies, the genre that you like, watch those movies, practice from there. So for example, if I were to give you this one example, and I'm going to try to speak like a character. Okay, so this is from the movie Harry Potter. There's this character, Hermione Granger, an
Mm.
important character, and this is how she speaks. Stop, stop, stop. You got its eye out. Besides, it's Leviosa, not Leviosar. Now, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Because if you start practicing like this, you're practicing multiple things in that one dialogue itself. You are
Mm.
practicing pronunciation. You are practicing voice modulation. You are practicing the pace of speaking. And at the same time, you might be practicing the vocabulary words that keep coming. So
Coming.
use everything that is at your disposal. Use those subtitles. Do it and then try to shadow that. Shadowing technique works the best. That's how
Mm.
I learned. So let me tell you, I was not the type who would just read the books. I would read a book if it resonated with me. So I would
Mm.
generally read biographies. I don't read fiction that much, right? I would read someone's story, someone in life, only
Mm.
those books. So how did I on my English speaking skills? Mostly by songs. I would listen to songs, I would write it down, and then I would try to sing. Or the movies and the so I would watch when I was in US, I would watch Grey's Anatomy. Again, that someone got the medical field also and English also, both together. I loved watching Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on your genre, whatever you feel, and make proper schedule. So in the morning, I will maybe, since morning your brain is at its highest productivity, maybe I'll write something, or maybe I'll read something because it's at its best capacity. So I will read, I will jot down 10 words. Okay, in the afternoon, what do I do? Okay, maybe I'll just listen to an audiobook or a podcast or a TEDx talk. Again, depends. And anything that you love. See, let's be honest. If I don't like it, I will not continue that activity.
Continue it
So
in
don't
interest.
even
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Pick up an activity that you love doing it.
Mm.
Pick up that Wordle. Okay, Wordle. I'm doing Wordle. Right. So pick up those activities, those crosswords, anything, any activity that you love doing it. There are so many apps there, free apps. Download them, play with them. Okay, then maybe I will end my day writing a journal. So journal entry is a good way because there you are writing too. So here, what are you doing? You're watching movies in the afternoon, sorry, in the evening when you're free. Watch movies, watch an episode. You don't have 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Watch an episode. There are
Mm.
multiple serials there, something that you resonate with. So again, this is very easy. Do things that work best for you. And there is no one shoe fit all approach. No, not at all. What works for your friend may not work for you.
For you.
So make sure you see what works for you. I
And
like
do
this
that.
particular. For example, my husband never watched Grey's Anatomy. What he would watch was another serial which was by the name 24. So he would
Mm.
watch 24.
Okay.
He would watch Breaking Bad. I would
Mm.
watch Grey's Anatomy because that worked for me.
Yeah.
So again, whatever works for you, and create a schedule, create a notebook. Like we discussed that time. You hear a word, write it down. Maybe
Mm.
later I'll go back and see what it
Back.
means. And the easiest way of learning words is in groups. So one particular type of words, one group. So now I know that even if I'm not sure about the exact meaning of that word, I at least know the context. So when I hear it, I will understand.
Mm.
Learning will never ever fail you. So as of now, also there are times whenever I get time, I do go back and learn and try to speak French. So I would love saying it in a French tune. Je ne sais quoi. Oh, okay, no, I didn't say it right. Then I'll say again, je ne sais quoi. Just right. Do that. Keeps
Nice.
your brain active. It's not only about language learning, it also keeps your brain active. And at
Mm.
one stage in life, you want that. See, because early, your youth period, those early 20s, 30s, your brain is anyways active. But after that, you need to give it some exercises to make sure it works.
Very, very well sum up. Actually, you answered my last part also of having a positive reinforcement. So you mentioned about having the mindset in a particular way to take feedback, understand things. So you covered that thing as well even before I asked that question. But so glad that you did that thing by giving an example, Dr. Garima. Do you want to add anything more on spreading positivity or to help you build confidence?
See, one thing I would say, and it has nothing to do with English per se, it is otherwise that whenever you can add value, do that, right? And do not refrain yourself from sharing your ideas. So, if people who are following me on LinkedIn, you would see that every day I would come up there. Even if I'm very busy, I will turn up because I know there is someone waiting for me. Someone, and that someone can be only 1%,
One
right?
person.
That one person, when that one person DMs me saying that your post resonated with me, or this is what I wanted to hear today, that is what fuels you, motivates you, brings in more confidence in you. So make sure whatever ideas you have, whatever learning you have, because you never know your experience, your learning from that experience when you share it with people. Might be there is someone who's still struggling with that problem. You're helping that person, even though you will never ever meet that person in your life ever. Maybe you'll never meet. Still, you are impacting. You are touching their lives. You're getting those blessings, those wishes from them, right?
Got
So
it.
my only thing to you guys is whenever you get a chance to talk about your learnings, your experiences, do not hold back and do not think anyone is judging you. Please don't. For people who say, oh, there are so many negative people, there are negative people, but why do I focus on that negativity? Can I look around and focus on
The
positivity?
positivity. That's nice. Superb. I am very glad to hear this thing out. As we wrap today's episode, I want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Garima for sharing her invaluable insights and expertise on boosting confidence through English communication. I think we have covered a wide range of topics from the importance of language proficiency to overcoming challenges to practicing effective communication strategies. So remember, guys, confidence is not just what you say, it's, I think, also how you say it. And Dr. Karima has provided us practical tips and inspiration, personal examples, and has helped us to go on this journey towards greater self assurance. So, thank you so much, Dr. Garima. We are very glad to have you. And we are obviously going to have a set of series right now. So, I'm more than entitled for the discussions that are coming forward on personal growth and empowerment right here on JioEvents Studio.
Thank you so much, Anu. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone who's listening to us. If you guys want to reach out to me, you can reach out. I am only and only active on LinkedIn, so that is the only place you guys can reach out to me. Okay, thank
But
you. Thank you.
thank you so much. We'll anyways keep Dr. Garima's LinkedIn handle on the ticker running through the entire episode, so y'all can reach out and stay tuned for our next episode with her. Thank you.
Okay, bye.